Hello and welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be looking back on more Super Sentai filler episodes. Just like last time, I'm going to be picking out one episode from each season I've seen, which is Jetman to Boukenger, giving a brief plot synopsis and then saying whether it's as good as I remembered or not. And then at the end I'll talk about my 5 favorite episodes from this video. So without further ado, I'm going to be looking at more Super Sentai filler episodes. First up is Jetman, episode 39, Spin, Roulette of Life. After the team is kidnapped by Gray, Guy must face him and Roulette to save them. This is a pretty good episode. Gray vs. Guy is one of the best parts of Jetman, so it's always great to see that. The Separate Cat is one of the more memorable biodimensional beasts. I also like how it was kind of set up that Guy had to cheat to win with the double-sided coin that Gray was using at the beginning of the episode. And I like the whole reason that Gray chose Roulette was because Gray was so arrogant that he felt like he could win at anything no matter what, and even nixed a mutually beneficial deal with Gray at the beginning of the episode for Circuit Board. There's not that much action in this episode, but it's still great and one of the best ones from Jetman. Next is Magiranger, episode 44, Japan's Best Swordswoman. Goshi protects the young kendo master when she is targeted by a Dora monster that steals people's talents. And this is one of the best episodes of Magiranger. Not only does it focus on Goshi, the best Magiranger by far, but easily has the best filler character in the season, with her not being an annoying child, and Goshi and her relationship is very wholesome. The other Magirangers are barely in the episode. Most of the action is out of suit, which is always cool. Goshi also has a badass moment where he defeats Dora Chimera in a single strike after he morphs. It's just a great episode overall. Next is Ranger, episode 32, Demon with the Golden Kick. Shoji gets into trouble when the misuse of his communicator causes him to be kidnapped by a dangerous Gorma outcast looking for his missing leg. And this is a weird and pretty disappointing episode. On one hand, you have my favorite monster of the week of all time with Birdcage Vagrant, a drunk hobo who drives a bus, has machine gun peg leg and crutch, and says random Spanish words. On the other hand, the episode just isn't that good. Shoji's misuse of the communicator is basically just there as justification for him getting kidnapped, and they try to make it a Ryo Soji episode through that, but it doesn't really work. Also, Kaku says how powerful Birdcage Vagrant gets with his leg, yet once he gets it, he is beaten very easily. A very disappointing episode for how much I like the monster. Next is Ranger, episode 8, The Bakaneko Shop. The Rangers must save children kidnapped by the yokai Bakaneko. This is a decent episode. It has some funny moments, with Nekomaru flying through the sky, and the Bakaneko making the Rangers do a funny dance. Plus I like cats. Not too much to say, but it's just a decent episode. Next is Ranger, episode 24, The Laughing Nostalgic Man. While visiting her hometown, Momo fights a machine beast that uses nostalgia as a weapon. This is one of the best episodes of Ranger. Barakaka is a great monster of the week. He honestly feels like he should be from Ranger with a human form that wears a Gaudy Napoleon uniform, and has a funny personality. The episode also focuses heavily on Momo, with the rest of the team barely in it. There are a couple of cool action scenes in Barakaka's pocket dimension, and the theme of nostalgia is cool as that's the reason why I got into Sentai in the first place. Next is Ranger, episode 10, A Great Reversal, Bicycle Training. A bike leader, Gorotsuki, brainwashes Naoki to join a reckless biking gang. This is an average Ranger episode. It's funny, especially with the Rangers chasing the bike leader in their tiny cars, and Natsume using the brainwashing headband to train Naoki was also smart. The stuff with Natsume trying to make Naoki her little brother was kinda weird, but that's Ranger for you. Next is Magiranger, episode 14, Surprise! The neighbors are Nejiregian. Kenta and Miku help a kid whose apartment complex is invaded by Kune Kune, and this is not that good of an episode. It's mostly a boy who cried wolf story with an annoying filler child, but has an interesting part about the other Magarangers getting on Kenta and Miku's asses about slacking off instead of focusing on their future. If the episode focused solely on that, it would be pretty good. There are also no Monster of the Week, which is cool, and the Kune Kune coming together to become giant was also funny. Other than that, it wasn't a great episode. Next is Gingaman, chapter 35, Goki's Choice. Goki contends with a new rival for Miss Suzuko's affection while dealing with Batabas's newest monster. And this is a pretty good episode. The subplot between Goki and Suzuko is one of the best parts of Gingaman, and Goki's wholesomeness is great, with his interactions with the other guy being really funny. The Artots are also hilarious as always, with them getting beaten up by Suzuko on multiple occasions. Just a good episode overall. Next is Go-Go 5, episode 33, An Innocent Saima Warrior. Sho and Matsuri help a Saima beast get over his weakness for women. And this is one of the best episodes of Go-Go 5. A badass warrior named Thanatos that gets flustered around women and has to wear goofy clothes is a really funny dichotomy. His weakness of women is also kind of relatable, and relates to Sho, who also can't say no to women. The scene at the beginning where Sho sims for the teacher is also really funny. Other than that, it's a pretty generic good monster episode, with the obligatory mind control happening at the end so the Rangers have something to fight. Next is Time Ranger, Case File 35, Tomorrow Isn't Coming. Naoto becomes stuck in a time loop while fighting a Launders hacker. And time loop episodes aren't done too often in Sentai, so it's pretty unique. It's also funny to see Naoto, usually a very unshakable person, becomes so startled once he realizes he's in a time loop. The action happens on a pier, which is cool, and even though I couldn't care less about the filler child subplot, it is wholesome to see Naoto when to see him as Timefire at the end of the episode. Pretty good episode overall. Next is Go-Ranger, Quest 3, The Eagle Vanishes. The Go-Rangers face an orb that causes people to disappear with its photos. This is just an okay episode. Yellow is invisible for a very brief period, and it's honestly more of a red-focused episode. I think I like the Wild Force version of this episode better because it focuses more on Red and Yellow's relationship rather than it being a very small footnote. Honestly, a pretty disappointing episode. Next is Hurricaneger, Scroll 13, Whiskers in the Engagement Ring. When Yosuke accidentally gives away his client's engagement ring, he and Nanami have to search the city for it. And this feels like the plot of a sitcom, in a good way. One of the best parts of Hurricaneger is that the team actually has normal lives aside from being ninjas. This episode shows that perfectly. The main Sentai stuff is very much a B-plot that isn't that important, though the Monster of the Week and his plan of turning people into Magirapas with mustaches is pretty funny. Next is Abaranger, Episode 10, Abaranger Bind. Yukito's favorite baseball player comes to Japan while a new Trinoid who causes greed appears. And this is a quintessential Sentai filler episode. If you searched up Sentai filler episode in the dictionary, this episode would show up. This is technically the first Sentai episode I saw via the episode in Dino Thunder, and it's even more goofy and silly than that version. Bucky Bonds is hilarious, and the bit about Yukito's fruit curry is funny. There are also cutaway gags, and this honestly would fit as an episode of Akibaranger with how absurd it is. Easily one of the best filler episodes ever, and one of the funniest episodes of Sentai. Next is Gokaiger, Episode 46, Proposed Panic. Sen suspects Umako's new boyfriend is an alienizer. This is a pretty good episode, though not as good as I remember. The mecha fight is at the beginning instead of the end, which is cool. The scene where Sen beats up the alienizer is really good, and Sen and Umako's relationship is pretty wholesome. The episode feels a little rushed, but still decent. I don't usually like these melodramatic feeling episodes overall. Next is Magiranger, Stage 27, Our Bonds. A Hades Beastman severs the bond between the siblings and Makito. This is an alright episode. This is a common trope in Sentai. It makes sense here because they are all siblings. The ending where Makito is taken over by the monster is cool, and their siblings regaining their bond to save him is cheesy, but well done. Overall, probably as generic of a Sentai episode as you can get. Next is Boukenger, Task 37, The Yearned For Showbiz World. Sakura goes undercover to retrieve a precious with explosive capabilities from a famous actor. And this is a decent episode, though not as good as I remember. It's funny seeing Sakura out of her depth and having to act like an idol, and the Monster of the Week being a goofy mascot costume is funny, but I kinda wish more of the cast got something to do. Next is Magiranger, Lesson 38, Biba Biba, Another Retsu. Again, Juken Monster causes Retsu to be replaced by his mirror counterpart. This is a pretty good episode. Imposter episodes are common, but this one is better than normal because it isn't just about the imposter tarnishing the ranger's reputation. It's also cool that Retsu's actor's twin played his mirror version. There's a pretty funny moment where Mirror Retsu easily convinces the other characters that he is real through charades, through the real Retsu's chagrin. A generic episode, but still pretty good. Next is Go-Onger, Grand Prix 11, Radio Jack. Gunpei must face the Banki alone after the rest of the team is hypnotized into living their dream lives. This is a great episode and one of the best of Go-Onger. Antenna Banki is a hilarious Monster of the Week, and the message about not trusting everything on TV is a good message, though kind of ironic coming from a TV show. Gunpei being on the run from the police is funny, and a speech near the end about all his friends' best qualities that breaks the hypnosis is cheesy in the best way possible. A very funny and great episode. Next is Shinkenger, Act 8, The Brides Are Spirited Away. The Shinkengers attempt to stop Daii's plan of kidnapping brides. This is a great episode. It's fairly simple with no Monster of the Week, and the way that Shinkengers trick the Gadoshu by having Mako be a decoy for Yunosuke is cool. And it's also within his character to be willing because he has a background in Kabuki. Juzo also makes an appearance, and the final fight with Daiu is very good. About as solid of a Sentai episode as you can get. Next is Goseiger, Epic 5, Magical Hide. Hyde and Agri work together to stop a genius virus that turns children into BBs, and this is a decent episode. Agri and Hyde is a good combination because of their difference in personalities. By the end, Agri appreciates Hyde's smarts while Hyde appreciates Agri's strength. I don't think it was done the best because they don't really interact too much, and there really isn't too much of setup into them having to work together, but it's still decent. On an unrelated note, I still don't really get the episode title, which is a very big nitpick, but it doesn't really have anything to do with the episode itself besides the fact that Hyde is a focus. Next is Gokaiger, Episode 8, Little Spy Tactics. The Sneak Brothers infiltrate the Gokai Galleon to figure out the Gokaiger's plans. And this is a great episode. There isn't much action, but Sneak Brothers is one of the best monsters of the week, and there are a lot of funny moments, like Incern and Damaras looking over the Gokaiger's files and skipping over Dawn because of how little a threat he is, Younger failing to throw Elder onto the Gokai Galleon, and Elder's hiding spots. It's also funny that Elder didn't really find out anything because the Gokaiger spent the entire episode trying to find Navi, and the mecha fight where Gokaiyo sends Elder into orbit with the baseball bat is hilarious. A very funny filler episode. Next is Go Busters, Mission 28, Beware of Chickens. The Metaloid discovers Hiromu's weakness. This is just an okay episode. The Metaloid doesn't even discover Hiromu's weakness until the halfway point. Before that, it's mostly unrelated, with Sprayloid confusing the Go Busters. Nick tricking Sprayloid into doubting himself was funny, and Hiromu's plan in the end was smart, but it's such a small part of the episode that feels kind of tacked on. I feel like this could have been 2 different episodes, and one that focuses solely on Hiromu's weakness would be much better than this episode kind of half-assing it. Next is ToQger, Brave 40, good and cool, it's tough being an old man. Nobuharu gets paired with Candelila for a marriage interview, and this is a great episode. The marriage interview is not really that big of a focus, and more so just a way to get Nobuharu and Candelila together, and they are really wholesome together. Dewa Kantoku is a great monster of the week, and sets up some cool action scenes when he turns the Kyoryugers into a cop show and school drama. Uchi with a shotgun is really funny, and the Kyoryugers doing their roll call during the school drama is also very unique. Plus Candelila's human form is very cute. A great episode overall. Next is ToQger, Station 33, number 1 at Karate. The ToQgers are tasked with fighting through a building to stop Syringe Shadow from killing an entire town with poison. This is a really good episode. It is a really good message about enjoying the things you do instead of trying too hard. And the action scene of Hikari and Wright fighting through the building was really cool. Syringe Shadow is a very creepy monster of the week, though he doesn't really do anything. And his plan of disguising himself right next to the ToQgers instead of being miles away is pretty stupid. Other than that nitpick, it's a good episode that explores Wright's and Hikari's past while having a good action and a good message. Next is Ninja, Shinobi 14, Beware of the Help Me scam. The yokai Yamabiko tricks Takaharu into handing over the team's Henge shurikens. This is a good episode. It's honestly a very good message to be aware of scam calls and to have things like code words in place to not get scammed by people impersonating your family, which is even more prevalent nowadays. As an episode in general, it's still fun, with Star Ninja trying to kill Takaharu in the beginning, and Yamabiko is a very funny monster of the week, especially when he's trying to trick Fuka and it doesn't work because of her obliviousness. A very good episode of Ninja. Next is Go-Onger, episode 15, The Shiver-Raising Sniper. Tusk and Leo must work together when the rest of the team is turned into dolls by Hunter G. This is an alright episode. It has a generic plot where 2 characters have to put aside their differences to work together that's in like every single season. This episode in particular kind of feels like a lesser version of the sniping 2-parter from Magiranger. It has a good moment when they trick Hunter G by Leo switching clothes with the mannequin, but other than that, it's a pretty generic episode. Next is Q-Ranger, Space 15, Savior of the water planet Vela. The Q-Rangers encounter a dark matter governor who is tricking a village into thinking he's a god. This is a pretty boring episode and very disappointing. The location on the beach is unique, which Q-Ranger is very good at, but other than that, it's kind of a filler child episode with the village girl being similar to Hammy when she was a child. The governor is a great design, but the episode itself is not even close to as good as I remember. Next is Lupinranger vs. Patranger, number 30, The Tour on a Trip. Noel sends Kairi to spy on Keiichiro, who was on an uncharacteristic vacation. And this is an alright episode. Kairi seeing some of his brother in Keiichiro, and Keiichiro trusting Lupinra to stop the fire with his new VS vehicle are the best parts. But the episode feels a little rushed. The monster of the week feels like a B-plot even though it's connected to the A-plot of Keiichiro on his vacation, and the scene where Keiichiro defeats the art thieves without transforming is cool, but it's kind of an underwhelming episode overall. Next is Ryusoldier, episode 19, Attack on Tiramigo. Tiramigo helps the Ryusoldiers fight a rule-enforcing Minosaur. This is a great episode. There isn't really much plot besides fighting the Minosaur, but it's still really funny and also shows how Tiramigo is unironically one of the best characters in Ryusoldier. The scenes of him living a normal life is really funny, and the running joke of Tiramigo calling Melto by the wrong name is hilarious. Kinda love finding out the teacher is already married, and Weiser getting trapped because he broke the rules are also funny moments. And Cleon is funny as always. The monster of the week is pretty interesting because it isn't physically strong and has to cause people to break the rules in order to win. I wish there was more done with Tiramigo and Melto's relationship, and I wish the other characters got more to do. But this is still really funny, and one of the best filler episodes so far. Next is Hurricaneger, episode 37, Senna 1/5. Yodana accidentally splits Senna into 5. This is a pretty good episode. It has a really great message in that unchecked optimism is not a good thing, and everyone needs a little pessimism so they don't get themselves in trouble if the worst happens. Senna 5 is honestly very relatable, and that she always sees the worst case scenario. I really like that this episode didn't try to shoehorn in a Munch of the Week or goofy filler plot that would take away from Senna's moment. This is also a very important episode because it reveals that Yodana and Yodam are the same person, and because of that, the Senna stuff feels much less important in this episode itself, but it still doesn't take away from this being one of the best episodes of Hurricaneger, and probably my favorite message from Sentai. Next is Shinkenger, number 38 Kai, Your Ancestors, Great Spirit World. Bond World summons the ancestors of Juron, Zox, and Stacy, and this isn't a very good episode, probably the worst one in this video as a whole. The only funny thing that happens is Juron's ancestor interfering in his roll call, and the only interesting thing that happens is Stacy and his mother, but nothing of note is done with it. And I already don't really care about Stacy, so it doesn't really matter to me. Not much else to say, just a much worse version of that episode from Go-Onger I talked about last time. Next is Dawn Brothers, Dawn 20, High Nose Elegy. Taro lets Jiro become the new leader of the Dawn Brothers, but their newfound popularity gets to their heads. This is a good episode, though not as good as I remembered. It's funny as always, like when Tsubasa gets out of training by claiming there's a cop nearby. Now the team literally get long noses from their arrogance. It's cool to see them actually save people instead of just fighting the monster of the week. And the ending where Kaito hypocritically accepts the fame and gets his own photo book is funny. I wish more was done with the team becoming arrogant because it's only around for like 30 seconds, but it's still a funny episode. Next is ToQger, Episode 4, A Lordly Reception. Gira, Yanma, and Himeno crash land in Tofu, and this isn't a very memorable episode. It's kind of just there to introduce Kaguragi, who's my favorite character in ToQger, and his willingness to do anything for his country is shown in this episode and is pretty much his defining characteristic. Other than that, not much else to say. It's kind of just here by default because ToQger has no filler episodes. Next is Boukenger, Bakuage 14, Cool and Wild. Chashiro protects his favorite aquarium from the latest Kurimaju, and this is a good episode. It's funny seeing someone as hard-boiled as Chashiro care so much about an aquarium, but it's part of his backstory in a cool way. Chashiro and Mira's relationship is decent in this episode, and the action is good as always. As of I'm recording this, we're only about 25 episodes through Go-Juger, and right now my favorite filler episode would be episode 18, which is the murder mystery episode, and it's probably the best episode of Go-Juger so far in general. I don't think a murder mystery had been done in Sentai before, so it's cool to see something new, and it's an interesting use of the no-one battles. I hope there's a better episode down the line, but right now this is the best episode of Go-Juger so far, and was pretty fun. Now I'm going to say my 5 favorite episodes from this video. Number 5 would be Number 1 in Karate from ToQger. Number 4 would be Good and Cool, It's Tough Being an Old Man from Kyoryuger. Number 3 is Little Spy Tactics from Gokaiger. Number 2 is Attack on Tiramigo from Ryusoldier. And number 1 is Abaranger Bind from Abaranger. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. It's always cool making these videos, getting to watch episodes of Sentai that I haven't seen in a very long time. Although, I kind of got through most of the heavy hitters last time, so this episode was not as good, but still a lot of fun. If you want to see me react to more Super Sentai filler episodes, I made this exact same video last year with better episodes, so check that out if you want to see more. I'll probably do another volume of this sometime down the road, but not anytime soon. Don't know exactly what the next video is going to be. Might be the Gav review once that ends, might be Tertiary Writers, might be something Sentai related, I'm not really sure. But thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed. Feedback is always appreciated. Have a great day.